welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Taurian B.
I'm First Class Regg.
I was like, all right, let me go back and really look at this class of artists that came out a decade ago, because it was the artists that we like now, like it was some really good ones, and there was some artists that fell off. So I'm gonna list the artists from 2009, right?
I'm screaming. I just Googled it. I didn't know Asher Roth was on it that year.
Right, yeah. So in 2009, you got Corey Guns, Blue, Mickey Fax, Wale, B.O.B., Asher Roth, Charles Hamilton, Ace Hood, Currency, and Kid Cudi in 2009, right? So now I'm gonna list off 2010. So the two biggest artists from that time period, I would say, had their own cover because I think either they were invited and they declined, or they felt that they were they felt that they were a year too late for them. So that's Nicki Minaj and Drake, right? They had their own cover. On the official 2010 cover, it was J. Cole, Nipsey Hussle, God Bless the Dead, Wiz Khalifa, Freddie Gibbs, J-Rock, OJ the Juice Man, Fashion, Big Sean,
I love that nigga, bro.
Hill, and Donis. So of that list, I kind of felt like it's like a no-brainer. Drake is number one off that list. But I think arguing who's number two on that list is a good debate.
Really?
Well, is it Nicki Minaj or is it J. Cole?
Oh.
Honestly, I'm going Cole.
A lot of people
I'm going Cole, yeah.
Right?
I'm going Cole.
A lot of people talk about this class, they leave Nicki out, but we can't leave Nicki out.
You're right.
You're right. Overlook her a lot.
You're right.
What year was that Kendrick cover?
That was the
next year,
2011.
That was after Drake had him on the Dreams Club Paradise tour. I mean,
yeah, Club Paradise. So yeah, him and Rock
tour.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it was.
What kind of ranking are we talking? Like better in hip hop or biggest deal? Like what's the question?
So
I think it's.
Okay, go ahead, guys.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let LaShawn go because LaShawn presented it, so I'm gonna let LaShawn have.
Yeah, this was your idea. So how would you like to rank that?
So maybe every 5 years they do like the redraft for the NBA. So if you was to start your franchise, who would you start your franchise with? So if you had a record label and we all had to pick of the litter, right? And I have the number one pick. I'm going to draft Drake. You have the number two pick to reshape your record label for the rest. This is deal or no deal. Your job is on the line. You are the Knicks. You finally get a good pick. Who do you take? Do you take the Queens Phenom home team? You bring her home, or you go to the guy who came to school in Queens, J. Cole? Who's the number two draft pick?
All right, just because I'm gonna go with J. Cole, just because even though I love to make fun of J. Cole and I don't like his albums, I like him way more than I've liked any of Nicki Minaj's projects. I think Nicki Minaj has constant moments where you can't deny her, but I think a lot of it she can't hold that attention on her own on a song. I think it's been a while since she had her own song that we were like, yo, Nicki killed it. Honestly, I don't like a single album of hers, and I haven't liked any of her bodies of work since her mixtape run.
Well, I'll put it like this, because I think and I'm not gonna deny or anything, but you personalized. I think with this, I'm looking at it from the overall scope of who has been most impactful to the culture. It's definitely Nicki. I think Nicki definitely cemented her place as being one of the most important voices in rap, and not just for women in rap. And that's coming from a person that I don't check for Nicki music, but the impact is there. Like she makes an impact when she drops. Nicki's feature run that year is was up there with she was and just her fan base and how crazy they are. They check for her shit. And they really fuck with her. I think her impact is a lot bigger than Cole's. I think Cole's consistency with music and his ability to get people to show up to him is another level. I would put Nicki at number 2 just for that reason.
So the reason I asked you to frame the question, LA, is because kind of similar to what Regg said. When I look at the two of them head to head, for me, the thing about Cole is impactful to hip hop in the sense of like, I don't know, like lyricism, but also like building a family tree. Like without bringing in Cole, you don't get the rest of Dreamville and all the artists that came under that and like that whole aspect and that whole energy of like when it was a Drake and Cole thing at the time, and then Kendrick and Cole. Like I feel like he's such a power player in that era, and then kind of birthing more from that moment. However, Nicki's a beast, and when Nicki's hungry, she captures the moment. And Nicki has star quality, and Nicki went mainstream. Like if we're talking just hip hop, Cole is always a beloved. But for me, Nicki is somebody who she took pop, she took a bunch of other shit. Like she just has superstar quality. And although I don't always love every single thing she puts out to date, there's so much history and so much that she just like put her fucking foot in that you can't negate that. And I feel like if you don't put her at number 2, you feel a real big loss to the culture in that respect.
I agree.
I look at it almost in the same light. Like I love Cole, and you know I'm a Dreamville stan, but unfortunately, when it comes to numbers on the board, he has his own ring, but it's kind of like Kawhi. It's kind of like Kawhi Leonard. Like, yo, you went to the Raptors, got the ring, and you dipped, and we know we'll never see the Raptors ever make it to the championship again. I love Dreamville, but I don't think Dreamville is ever going to get out of the playoffs. I don't think there's going to be a player on that team who's going to knock it out of the park and give you championship numbers. I don't think so.
On Dreamville?
Don't speak so soon. Dreamville. Don't speak so soon, but okay. They're just a different package. If you think about when we grew up, like what Cole is now is what you would have called backpack music back then. Yeah. And it's the same shit with like Ari being like neo soul, and then J.I. like that's the whole. It's just a
what do we call D'Angelo and Erykah Badu? That whole group. What do you call that? So
neo soul.
Neo soul.
No, like they were the whole group with Common in them. They were like they had a
neo
name.
soul. That was the name.
No. He means like when they did like a power group or some shit.
Yeah, it's like I think it was called Sequestrians or some shit like that.
Yeah, Sequestrians or something like that, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's what Cole is. His team is deeply rooted in that musical ability and not necessarily looking to put number ones out, but make full bodies of work. You can always rely on them to be in the playoffs. They're not going to they're not going to make a crazy trade to get to the championship, but they're always consistently in the playoffs. With Nicki is a power player. Nicki's a high flyer. She's going to bring in the crowd. She's going to have a draw. She's going to have a couple championship runs, but now looking at Nicki's career, she reminds me of like a Kevin Durant, where like, all right, you're a monster player, but you show your ACL. I was kind of looking like, what are you going to do next?
I feel like we're too okay. That's your opinion, but I feel like we're talking about the bitch like she died.
I'm not talking about like she died, but her music has her fan culture.
I just don't think she's important anymore. To keep it a buck.
I can barely hear you. Your mic is like Rory talking behind you. Like. When you look at the grand scheme of things, like when it comes to her music, it's been on decline. And her fans are not investing in her as much as they were.
Oh, no, they are. Her fans are fucking nuts.
They didn't buy the ticket sales. She canceled the tour.
She's been in a virus for a year. What are you talking about?
Nah, this is talking about last year, 2019.
Yeah, the Future tour. With the Future
tour. Future tour got canceled.
Well, there's a difference between the people that stand for Nicki on the internet and the people that can afford to go see Nicki. That has to do with the culture and how much we're charging for tickets and shit. Like when I went to see 2 Chainz and it was a bunch of white 19-year-olds, but that's not the people that are fighting for 2 Chainz on Twitter right now. So like that has to do with capitalism and the economy. I don't got nothing to do with a fan base.
So you don't think, when I look at Nicki's career now, Nicki is in a strange place where she's not accepting the fact that she's a legacy artist.
No,
She's not transitioning well into.
I disagree.
Bro, she's 5 albums in now.
Bro,
She's
but
5-6 albums in.
she is accepting that. It's people around her, and
So?
the audience isn't accepting that she's a legacy artist.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Legacy artist, yeah.
Trying,
And I also think it's too soon to call her a legacy artist, but I feel what you're saying, I guess.
she's been trying to claim that role for a long time now. It's just the way that she goes about it that makes her unbearable to some people. But
Can I ask y'all a question?
the first album even being called Queen is representative of that.
Go ahead, LA, what's the question?
How do y'all equate numbers to a current status of said artist? So you see how like we'll use, Nicki didn't get the tour sales, and that may indicate her decline, right? Or even to reference Felix showing me his the Scorpion numbers, right? But we all know how we personally feel about Scorpion. But just because the numbers did well, does that now mean that the album is good?
I don't think that.
So how do we judge numbers? I know it matters in a sense, but how does one levitate and decline an artist?
So then my question to you is, do you put the same bracket with Melo? You always put Melo, Wade, and LeBron in the same bracket because they're from the same graduating class. Rookie class, but we also view those players very differently and hold them to different standards. Each of them. One, we look for individually numbers. One, we look for playing style. One, we look for accolades.
Why'd you answer his question with a question?
I didn't.
Because Rob doesn't try to confuse people. That's why Rob doesn't.
You literally said, "Can I ask you a question?" You didn't even answer the question. You just answered his question with a question.
Let me wrangle this back in, because Rob always gets lost in whatever the fuck he wants to say, because he never knows what he wants to say. So he just wants to confuse everybody so they can just join him in confusion.
Oh my God.
So if all right, so I'm gonna ask everybody, right? If you had to give your top 5 from this class, right? And it, like, who would you say it is? Like, I'll give mine, right? So I'm gonna say that Drake is like the number 1 of this class. Like, he's the valedictorian and everything like that. Then I would say Nicki. Then I'm gonna go Cole.
This is where it gets interesting.
Big Sean, and then Wale. So if I had to give the 5, right? And
really?
It's hard for me to put Wale at 5 because I really want to put.
But I think I'm confused because wasn't Wale on the 09? And you're giving the 2010 people right now.
Well, because
putting them together.
I combined them.
Okay.
So all right. So let me just further clarify it. Because 09 and 2010, like a lot of the shit that happened in 09, like it was complex. Double XL wasn't getting it right. So what happened in 2009, like a lot of shit that happened in 2009 was supposed to have happened in 2010. They were just late. So that's why I combine it and my identification of it. Because they were supposed to put Nicki Minaj and Drake on the 2009 class.
So you're creating a dream team from both classes. Copy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. So for me, the only reason why Wiz doesn't make it over Wale is because like I feel like Wiz, like he came out the gate really hot, and like yes, he has like really, really big songs, but like his body's a work of shit, if you ask me.
Woo!
But I could put Big Sean there because I feel like Big Sean has got a lot of accolade over clout and not bodies of work.
Wow.
Well, Rob, you know what? It wasn't your turn to speak, and we didn't ask you yet. So when it's your time to go, you can give your 5.
Clout? Big Sean?
I'm gonna let y'all keep going. I'll be right back.
But
I can go now if you want me to.
Yeah, give your 5 artists that you.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, I am shocked that Taurian does not have Cudi in his 5. Because you're the one who brought Cudi up in our conversation. And you had Cudi over Wale.
Well, because in that conversation, it was a different, we just had like 6 or 7 people. But if I have to give my solid 5, like my 5, I know what I'm going to go with. It's just that, like, for me, I know Cudi, like, if I wanted Cudi to be for festivals, Wale can't fuck with Cudi. As far as cult following, Wale can't fuck with Cudi. As far as marketing, Wale can't fuck with Cudi because people like Cudi. People don't like Wale. But if I had to like pick as far as like artistry and like who I'm going to listen to, I'm going to pick Wale. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to put Cudi there just because I give Cudi a lot of credit to 2008 with 808s and Heartbreak. I think that was his peak moment. I'm not sure when Men on the Moon came out, but I remember it being such a big deal that he was running around with Kanye at the time. I'm gonna give Drake number one. That's a given. 2, I'll give Cole. 3, I would probably definitely give Nicki. 4, I'll give Wale. 5, I'll probably give 5 to Wiz, just because he does have a lot of big moments. Now the reason, to your point, LA, when you looked at me crazy for me just saying a lot of clout, I look at Pusha T and Big Sean and them. A lot of them at that time in that 2009-2010 realm were floating or revolving.
Oh, he froze.
Rob got cut off.
Spell on him?
That was Kanye West at that time. What happened?
Rob got cut off because he was about to utter that bullshit.
Wait, I'm back.
Froze for a sec.
All right,
Yeah.
so what I said in 2009 and 2010, I feel like the Big Sean at that time got his star got a lot brighter only because he was right next to Kanye West. And a lot of people don't talk about that moment, but a lot of those looks that Ye gave Sean were big major moments that made us look at Big Sean a lot differently.
Like what?
The BET freestyle, Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay, him being on Whatever You Want remix with Consequence, Super Duper Lemonade Flow. A lot of those moments, he was running around with Kanye, the look and all of that. He was kind of like, to me, he was kind of like...
Yeah, but everybody in that class had a A-list cosign.
They had a mentor.
Nothing to do with Kanye.
Yeah, like if that's the case, I can say Drake had the biggest light standing next to Wayne. Wayne was on the biggest tour in America and had his own set with no. Yeah, bro, you can't say that. And then you got Cole, who was on Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
everybody had somebody.
Matter of fact, the only person who didn't have it was Wiz.
A lot of shit that Big Sean ended up doing wasn't with the help of Kanye. Like Detroit, he dropped on his own. His Finally Famous.
I'm not talking about Detroit. I think Detroit is amazing, Regg.
His accolades from.
Yo, Rob, you have an agenda about a lot of things, and sometimes you fall flat. Big Sean's first 3 mixtapes had nothing to do with Kanye.
What I'm talking about is when he got to the mainstream and who was standing next to him. Okay. Yes, he had the accolades. I'm not talking about that. And if you want to be honest, I give Finally Famous and Detroit probably his 2 best projects. I feel like when it comes to Dark Sky Paradise, people give it so much credit only because you're comparing Big Sean to Big Sean. But if you look at the albums that year, he wasn't even the top album that year.
Nah, Dark Side Paradise was amazing. Especially, come on, bro. That was
a great album that year.
Dark Sky Paradise was hailed as one of the best rap albums I dropped that year.
Yeah,
I know because he reviewed it.
You definitely have an agenda there. Like
I have an agenda. Are you mad that Big Sean got a pair of sneakers that you didn't get or something? What's up?
No, I have my.
He's just trying to argue for Wale to be higher.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that. I'm like, this is about Wale, and you need to say that with your chest. And then
I'd say it with my chest.
Even Wale had Interscope and a Rock Nation backing. Everybody that we could put in our 5, no matter what order you want to put it in, is in that 5 because somebody of a legendary status said, "Yo, check out my man, or my woman."
I'd argue that Wiz had the
5, and I'll do it without a disagreement.
That's what I said. Wiz is the only one who didn't have the help, bro.
Yeah, Wiz had
you know what's crazy though about Wiz backing that was different from everybody else's backing? Wiz had a college campus. That's a crazy backing, bro. Wiz had colleges by storm. Wiz vlogged the best. Wiz music embodied the what's that movie that, Taurian, I'm not good with movies. What's that movie where the kids took over the house and it was like
Project X?
Yes. Wiz Come Up was a Project X movie, bro.
I agree.
The album's
Okay, so
flop.
who? Danny, what's your 5?
All right, if I gotta go 5, obviously it's the God Drake. If I gotta go number 2,
That's a tough one, bro. That 2 pick.
number
is
2,
crazy.
okay, because number 2, looking back, because Mena brought up a good point to me when she brought up the J. Cole has generations after him now, and he has his family tree. I would go Cole because even though Nicki might have been bigger and had more of an impact, she doesn't really have a family tree. She doesn't seem
It
intent on
starts and
creating.
stops with her.
Yeah, she doesn't seem
Directly or
intent on
indirectly?
either. No. I think she clearly has daughters.
She has,
I think
yeah.
a lot.
Oh,
of,
I like that. But isn't that part of a family tree?
No. When I say a family tree, it's the way we say Young Thug and how people from Atlanta are from Gucci's family tree. The way Little Baby, the way Gunna, the way Little Key, they're all part of Young Thug's family tree. So that's why I see more long-term money coming from J. Cole. The rapidy-ass rapper in me, and just because I love the success he has and he's a underdog in that whole thing, I'm going to pick my third to either be Currency or Freddie. You could interchange them out.
That's not gonna like that.
Crazy.
Be mad at you for saying that.
The reason why is because they've been able to understand how to work as their own individual artists. They've been able to really thrive.
I didn't be honest with you. Sorry to cut you off. I didn't like that Currency was on that list though at all.
I have Currency there because I feel
got it
no
wrong.
matter what, Currency has been consistent. He's learned how to make
Yeah, but
money no
Currency
matter
was
what.
out way before then. Like way.
Oh, you mean
before.
picking him then?
Yeah.
can
I thought that
understand
was crazy.
All right, so boom. That was too. I agree with that. He shouldn't have been on that list because he was out for mad long before that.
Yeah,
and
he was killing too.
So for that, I'll make it Gibbs. But just the way they've perpetually been able to generate money under any circumstance, create this niche fan base for themselves that no matter what follows them to the death, I'm with it. And I'm part of both fan bases. Number 4, and honestly, you know what? I'm gonna switch that pick to number 4, but number 3 would have been Nip. A lot of it for the same reason, and because from the jump, he was very aware of what he could do on his own. Also, long-term, seeing his impact and seeing what he ended up meaning to the culture. I think maybe besides Drake and maybe Cole on there's nobody else that means as much to culture. And Nicki. And if I gotta go 5, it's gonna be Cudi. Because Cudi changed the way music for hip hop was, period. He gave us 808 and Heartbreaks. A lot of the shit we liked from Drake as Drake developed over time, I don't think we would have liked if Cudi didn't pave the way for us accepting these type of sounds. I think he in general made the people of his class and people coming after get more melodic. And he made even people older than him do it, like getting Kanye to do 808 and Heartbreaks.
That's a great 5. That's a great 5.
I think for me, it's pretty similar to everything that you guys said. So number 1 off rip is going to be Drake, for obvious reasons. We've never seen a run like Drake's. Number 2, I would have to put Nicki. Nicki was right up there with Drake's run, and I never saw it done like that with a woman. I mean, granted, Kim did what she did, but like she didn't do it to the level that Nicki did it in. But Kim is the blueprint, so she got it from her. 3, I would have to say Cole. Cole, I feel like he's just expanding. I don't know if this is going to be his last album, but he definitely already made his mark. Like he's one of those rare artists that doesn't have to be present for you to feel or to check for whatever he drops next. 4, I'm gonna go with Big Sean because Big Sean, I feel like from a lot of what he did, even with his big cosign from Kanye, it's a lot like what I was saying to Rob, where he really made a name for himself outside of the cosign. And, he didn't just sit there and be comfortable with the cosign. He went and he did shit on his own. So like his biggest things, to date, like his Finally Famous series, his Detroit mixtape, those don't even have Kanye on them. And Kanye, I don't think, had nothing to do with those recording processes. So like, just seeing him stand on his own too and get his shit like has been dope. And his next album, I think, is gonna be fire and cement him even more. And number 5, I gotta go with Cudi, because Cudi spearhead a lot of the shit that's going on with just like emo rap. Like he made that a category. Like emo rap wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Cudi. So like I feel like, you know, he's another artist that I have 2 artists on here whose collective bodies of work I don't really fuck with like that. But I respect and I see it. Like I see why people fuck with it. Like Cudi, I fuck with Man on the Moon 1 and 2, but he kind of has dipped off to me. But like I see, like to turn a blind eye to his impact is just crazy. Like he impacted so many people. So I gotta go with Cudi.
Then my turn, gentlemen?
Yes, ma'am.
That's for last.
Okay, I'm building my list solely off of who I consider most influential. This is not about who I listen to the most. This is not about who I think is the best lyricist. This is about who do I think is a top 5 starter pack of like major fucking influence for years to come. And I think that even the people that I'm gonna leave off, there's a lot of room for them having their influence too. But this is like major players. Like if I wanted to fucking start hip hop over type of shit, and I need to know that we're gonna be like always hitting the fucking top 40, and we have like hustlers and grinders on the line, and people who have influenced generations. Here's my list. Drake. Obviously. Drake, I think it's like, what the fuck else do you say? Like Drake he's influenced the generation he came up with, and he's gonna continue to influence generations. And it's getting to the point where some people might even call it a little lazy where he's at right now, but it doesn't even fucking matter because he's Drake, and you put Drake's stamp on something and everyone wants to know about it. So Drake 100%. Nicki again, Beast, came up under the same camp. It's no surprise to me that they both came up under Wayne. I feel like they both know how to be real hungry and innovative with that, and just like get in whatever fucking pocket they need to get in. They get in where they fit in, and I have a lot of respect for that, both of them. Nip, because Nipsey, I mean, he changed the game when he decided, I'm going independent and I'm selling this shit for $100 a pop because I believe in myself and y'all are gonna catch on. And now even in his laws, he's left so much behind that has way more to do than just hip hop. Like people look to him as a voice of guidance and reason, the things he did for his community, the books that he would talk about, and even all the moves he was making towards the end of his life where you could see he was pivoting in a direction where it was like, it was always bigger than music to him. He always knew he was gonna be good at what he was doing, but it was bigger than that. He had a real big master plan. So definitely Nip has to go number 3. I'm putting Cudi next because I think that Cudi, out of all of the rappers that are on both lists, for somebody who came out that long ago, like it's funny to me, I turned 32 this year and my sister's 21 and she's obsessed with Cudi. And like that's a big thing to me. Like a lot of us came up hearing Cudi and like you said, he'd made this genre of emo rap and like putting his, like just his touch on so many things that paved a lot of artists to come after him. But even still, without always doing much, and even in like pivoting to acting and all the things that he does on the side, I think he's super influential to the younger generation after us. And there's not a lot of rappers from that era that you could sit down and argue with kids that are 10, 15 years younger than us that you'll agree with, but they fucking love Cudi. So that's my number 4. And then my number 5, I'm gonna close it out with Cole, because I think that Cole and Drake came from the same era, but they wanted different things. And I feel like what Rob was saying earlier, like Cole, I think was more about, not that Drake doesn't make quality music, but Cole was more concerned with quality music. And he was concerned with doing it in his own way. And he was concerned with, again, building, you know, Drake has OVO, but at the same time, it kind of feels like, and I love OVO because I think it has so many different things going on that don't only make you think of Drake, but they feel very Drake. And with Dreamville, I feel like, to me, from the outside looking in, it looks very much like he lets everybody fly and they're just all finding their way and doing what they do. And they've just come together to be in the same pocket because that was the music that was the type of artist and music that they were attracting when they were building Dreamville. But again, somebody who I think is majorly influential, who you know, to date hasn't really, even when he fumbles, he hasn't dropped the bag. So that's my top 5 influential from 2009 and 2010.
That was beautifully well said.
Thank you.
I fuck with that. That was solid.
That was solid.
I'm going classic. Like, I need to change the landscape of music altogether. So mine's is pretty basic. Drake 1, Nicki 2, Cole 3, Wale 4, Sean 5. Like, I need to know, like, I'm going to get a number 1 something out of my group. If I had the spearheaded of like the 5-headed monster, that would be my 5. Cult following is cool and all of that, and this, that, because if I'm going cult following, I'm going Currency, I'm going Nip, I'm going Gibbs, I'm going Wiz, and at one point in time, Fashion was my man. Fashion was supposed to change. Was Nas's first, like, I think Fashion was with Nas, and if I'm not mistaken, but I had a real love for Fashion, and it wasn't because my name is LaShawn. I really thought that man could rap, and his bars was crazy, and I love what he was doing with Brett Simpson and his character. But you know, people be going through life. So I thought Fashion was gonna be everything that J. Cole is.
Doesn't that hurt, LA, when you look at your artist that you like, you're like, yo, he's gonna change rap, and they don't.
You know what it is?
Oh, you know all about that.
You know what I like though? I like finding these artists before they take off. So it's not that disappointing because I knew I was there from the start. It's more like, man, if what was it, you know? Because some of these artists just disappear. You never know what really happens.
Thing is, if you know enough about music, you know that it's not always because the music is fading. You always like you said, LA, like if you're listening from the beginning and you know enough about the industry, you know that there's a lot that comes to play with why not everybody succeeds. There's a lot you got to sacrifice. There's a lot you got to do. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of other bullshit around that. So sometimes you could look back at some of these artists and be like respectful of the fact that they stayed on brand. That doesn't mean that not everybody's meant to be somebody like Drake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yo, you know, it's funny you say that.
See the thing, I wasn't expecting. Go ahead, Rob, my fault.
It's funny that you say that because I was listening to a IG Live with Lupe Fiasco and Joe Budden.
And then Guru jumped in after. Guru was giving that man gems, boy.
And Lupe said that when Kick Push came out, initially when Food and Liquor came out, it was a demo. It was done already. Like he was already ready to present it and already had First and 15 as the label and was presenting it to Atlantic. And he wanted Kick Push. They wanted Kick Push to be something about the single. Like, yeah, it was a single, Kick Push. And Kick Push was already moving by itself. And he didn't want, they wanted to pull it. And he was like, why are you going to pull a song that's already on the radio? Because they didn't have the time frame that they wanted to Kick Push to come out. But it was already in the streets. Mm-hmm. The head of the labels was so petty with Lupe about Kick Push that they went and bought the fucking sample and then pulled the song because they owned the rights to the sample. And he couldn't play the song on the radio until they were ready for them to put the song on the radio. Shit like that is ridiculous. And I think that we don't hear those stories up front. So like when we hear our favorite artists talk about it, like, nah, I've been very unhappy for a long fucking time. So I think that's also always something to think about. I didn't think about it until Menace said it, but yeah, like we don't know the back end. We walk up to artists on some like JT Matthews shit and be like, yo, what happened to you in the 5 Heartbeats? You like, nigga, it's been rough, okay?
Yeah, shit happens. People have families, people have lives. Like, there's so much that plays into that. And when you want to be like number one in this industry, there's a lot you have to leave behind too. And there's a lot you have to sacrifice character of self. There's just a lot of shit that goes with it. So I get why not everybody wants to go that far. Some people just want to fucking make the music they like to make, and whatever happens, happens.
Very much so. Very, very much so.
Fashion is still signed to Mass Appeal. That's crazy.
Wow.
And then some people get caught up in bullshit deals, and that's the next part of that.
Hit up now and see what he says.
I mean, Ace is gonna make a great actor, man. So it'll be cool.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Taurian B.
I'm First Class Reg.
I want to thank you guys for watching this episode